Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Disgaea RPG video. Before I go ahead, I better just say a big thank you to Zalex for allowing me to use his art up here in my new overlay. I've had to change it a bit because I'm now using the Steam client for global, so I decided to just use the DMM client for JP. It gives a bit of a wider screen and it means we'll have a bit more consistency and less stuttering on videos and stuff like that when recording. So anyway guys, today's video we're going to be talking about the next summonable unit to come on global, which is going to be Torachiyo. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, but it's what I'm going with anyway. Might just call her Tora from now on. We're going to go over her kit as we always do. Have a look at what she's like as a unit and you can decide if yourself if she is worth summoning or not. Now I'm recording this before the roadmap's gone live, so you've probably now all seen that there's a lot of units this month, and videos like this and your own research are going to be quite important because Quartz is actually going to be very short supply this month, and you're going to have to choose who you want to summon because with so many banners you're not going to get them all unless you're someone who spends money. So you really need to pick your battles, and is this one of the units that you need to summon? Well, I guess we'll just find out. So Torachiyo, let's have a look at her there. She's the next original creation that's been added to Disgaea RPG. First of all, we obviously had Lucy, then we had Diaz, or Diaz, whatever you want to call him, and now we've got Torachiyo. Torachiyo? I think that's how you pronounce it. So anyway, a powerful demon samurai who devoted her life to the way of the rice ball. Her Onigiri based fighting style earned her the title of Onigiri Lord, okay? So there's nothing in there like her being a bad actor, a bad liar or anything, so I'm guessing she's the boss. Hey. So she is a fist type character. She is also of the Rook class when it comes to your class based system. So if you're working on Rook characters, she might be one that can help you boost up your stats a little bit. She's got pretty decent attack. She is obviously more of an attack focused character being that she is fist. Let's have a look at what she does. Let's see what she brings to the team and see if she's a character that is worth you picking up. So, as always, I will have some animations showing for this character so that you can see what she looks like, what her animations look like, what her skills look like, but we will look at her abilities first of all, and then we'll take it from there. So, her leader skill, her NE0 as you would call it, is Onigiri Boost. Fist, bow, gun, weapon equipped characters all get attack plus 16%. So, she really does mesh with the other two. They're actually a bit like Gordon, Jennifer and Thursday in that regard. They are leader skills, their NE0s all act together to kind of give you a boost to everything. So yeah, I mean if you're running those other characters, or if you're running a combination of some of those characters like bow and gun etc, you can use her and she will give them a bit of a boost to attack. 16%, it's not bad. I can't say I'm that much of a fan of specific character mixed skills. I'd rather it was just maybe a slightly lower percentage, but to all, you know, probably works out a little bit better. So her NE1 is called One Shot Onigiri. Damage that you do with a single attack is plus 60%. Okay, now a lot of you guys probably already know if she's got an S rank skill, which she may well have, we'll talk about that in a minute, those can be quite useful because obviously it's going to boost that attack by an additional 60% as well. So she could be quite a good damage dealer. Her NE5 is called Serious Duel. If there is one enemy at the beginning of turn, basic parameters other than your own HP plus 30% for one turn. We've seen things like that before. Obviously that type of skill is on someone like Kalidia, which is obviously pretty good, you know, if you're trying to take on bosses and stuff like that, it can be quite useful. But obviously if you're looking at having a DPS and you've got someone like Kalidia, then maybe you're not going to use this one. Her NE7 is called Onigiri Snack Time. At the end of turn, attack and defense plus 20% for 2 turns of the ally character with the first action engage. So, all in, looking at her abilities, she is decent. No one's going to argue that she's not decent. It's just, I feel like she's trying to fill a role that's already filled. you may already have better units that are going to fulfill the role that this character has. However, if you don't, this character could be a solid DPS unit for you. She could be quite useful at taking on raids. And speaking of raids, she is a bonus character in one of the upcoming raids. So if you do pick her up and you work on her, she could potentially be your DPS for that raid. Just depends on what you're going to go with. But let's go on and we'll look at the rest of her stuff. So I mean, overall, I'd say her abilities are decent. I just don't really know if they're fulfilling a need, if that makes sense. But we'll go ahead and we'll look at her skills. So she does have 3 skills. I will show you them on screen. But we will start off by talking about her level 1 skill. A level 1 skill is called Empty Stomach, which is a 15 SP dropping down to 8. It is a self-targeted skill. And it's for rice balls, anything is possible. Attack plus a pair, I don't know what that's actually supposed to say, and a small HP recovery. So she is boosting herself with attack, and again, I don't really know what pair is supposed to be. I don't really see anything on the skill charts that tell me what pair would be, but she's buffing herself basically, and she's also recovering her own HP. Straight off the bat, not a massive fan of that. I mean, health recovery for someone you specifically want to target for health recovery, it to me is good, but if it's specifically just yourself, I can't really say I'm a massive fan of that, to be completely honest. She is quite a selfish character, to be honest. We will see that as we go through these skills. Her level, the one she unlocks at level 200 is called Splitting Grain. It's a G+. It can change to F, which is SP 25 going down to 18. It's an AoE for damage, and it's another self-targeted HP recovery. So again, she's going to recover her own HP with that attack. Much like before, I'm not a massive fan of self-recoveries. If you could target who was on the team, that would make that a lot better. And our NE3 is called Oniguro Secret Slash, which is an S rank skill rising to S+. It's SP 70 dropping down to 58. It's a single target damage, and surprise surprise, it's a self buff of HP. She also does buff herself by defense plus 10%. So, I mean, it's a hard one. The S rank skill is really good, like we've talked about before. She has an attack buff up top for single targeted damage. She also has another buff on her NE5, where if you're only facing one enemy, she's getting a boost to all stats apart from HP. So that S rank skill potentially could do a lot of damage in something like raids. However, a lot of her skills have these self-recovery buffs on them, which again could be good in raids. Let's be straight here. You take a lot of damage in raids. If she's recovering HP every single time she uses a skill, that's pretty good, because it's going to give her a chance of staying in the fight. But again, I just prefer characters who have a little bit more utility. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on her skills. They're okay, but they're not crazy. Let's go ahead and we will look at her magical spells, which, to be quite honest, they're okay. They're pretty decent actually. So first of all, her first magic skill she unlocks at level 4 is Armor Break. Level 9 it's Braveheart. Level 15 it's Magic Down. Pardon me. Level 22 it's Mega Armor Break. Level 30 it's Mega Braveheart, and level 40 it's Mega Magic Down. So she is an attack buffer, a defense debuffer, an int debuffer. Overall, I think she's got a fairly good bit of utility as a support stroke debuff character to be on your team, which is actually pretty good. If she had those skills up top that were HP recovery to your full team, you could actually do a combination that would work really well, where she was a healer and a buffer debuffer. But obviously, in this scenario, we can't have that because she's only going to be restoring her own HP. So overall, I mean, I think with her magic spells, she is decent. Like there's absolutely no denying that whatsoever, and I think on things like raids she could become very useful, because she can be doing things like buffing your character, casting Armor Break onto the raid boss, which is obviously very good. I mean, if you were using her in that scenario, however, you are not going to be using her as a DPS, because you're going to be using her SP every turn to be casting those things. Well, not every turn, but most turns to be casting things like Mega Braveheart and Mega Armor Break. But I'd say she's fairly useful. I mean, even on something like raids, if you did have another DPS, she would be a fairly useful character for providing chip damage, so doing a little bit of damage in the background to help bring it down a bit for your DPS to do big damage, because obviously you're going to reach buff cap pretty quickly and there'll be a few turns where she won't have to cast either debuffs or buffs, so at that point you could do a little bit of damage with this unit and help bring the level of the boss down. So she does definitely have utility, and she has a good character. The question we kind of need to ask at this point is she worth summoning for? And I think, like I said at the start, this video takes on a little bit more weight with that decision because of what we have coming up for the rest of the month. Obviously, we have got the Halloween banner, we've got the Badass banner, we've got the Pretty Girl Flawn Thing banner, we have the Christmas banner, and then we have another banner towards the end of the month. So there's a lot of banners, and a lot of those banners have high profile targets. So for that reason, I feel like I need to say no, she's not a summon. The reason I'm saying no, she's not a summon is I feel like, first of all, for her DPS side of things, she isn't fulfilling anything that you can't already have with other characters. There's lots of solid DPS units out there, and I don't really feel like she's fulfilling a need to be the best, so the rest of them don't matter. Yeah, she's got a lot of magic spells, but we all got Zed for free, and with Zed you can have Mega Braveheart and Mega Armor Break, so if that was the strategy you wanted to go for, you can already fulfill that for free with Zed, because most people, unless you're brand new, you'll already have Zed. As well as that, there's other characters that do the same thing, so I don't really even feel like her magical spells are fulfilling a need that we don't already have. Now that doesn't mean that I don't think she's a good unit, I just think that for now I don't think she's a target that you should possibly put at the top of your list to summon. Yes, she's probably going to give a 10% boost on the raid, which is huge, 10% boost to our drop rate of spins, but again, if that is the only thing you're summoning for, you're probably not free to play, and you probably don't really care if I tell you should summon or not, so fill your boots and summon away. But I'd say to most average people who are more conservative about what they summon for and what they spend their quartz on, this unit is probably a skip. If you pick her up later on a Platinum Summon banner, because she is going to be added to the Platinum pool, then awesome, but this first banner I think is a skip for her. But again, that's just my opinion. You guys can let me know down below in the comments what you think for your opinion, okay? Now guys, I've got to say at this point, I've been informed by a lot of people that YouTube is playing a little bit silly buggers with my channel. It's not pushing out recommendations and stuff like that. So if any of you are subscribed and you haven't already, I know it's annoying as hell, but please consider hitting that little bell button, because it will let you know when I do upload new videos, and hopefully it can spring the channel back to life a little bit and more people can get their eyes on videos in future. Let me know down below what you think of YouTube, because your comments do actually help push these videos out a little bit further as well. Anyway guys, we are entering the season of Christmas and stuff like that, so I will be having lots of videos to keep us going. I hope you all get your planning underway nice and early, and you're not rushing about at the last minute trying to do raids while walking about Walmart or Target to pick up some Christmas presents for your friends. And remember, if you have got lots of gifts to buy, don't be wasting your money on gacha games, okay? So set yourself a budget, don't go over budget, or you might be disappointed throughout Christmas. Anyway, bit of a side diversion there. As always, I've been Hayzink, thanks for watching this one, and I'll catch you on the next Disgaea RPG video. Peace out dudes, and see you later.